What's up, everybody? Today is the 6th of July. Hope you guys had a wonderful 4th of July, our Independence Day, 250 years. In 2276, there will be another capsule of 250 years. I don't know what they put in the capsule. I just seen a photo. It said 2026 / 2276. And that's another 250 years. That will make America 500. And you look at yourself, it's like 250 years of America. You're telling me people only lived in the United States for 250 years? I'm not no history person or anything like that, but I don't believe that. You're telling me people in the United States only been here for 250 years? Let's talk about grandparents. Like, somebody had to have my grandma. I know nothing about my grandma's mother or father. I know about my two grandmas and my two grandpas. Well, my grandpa died when my mom was young. But all these generations, you're telling me there's only been 4 or 5 generations up to today for my life or anybody else's life? You're telling me. So it went from my mom's parents, well, take that back, from my grandma's parents, say their parents, to my grandma, to my mom, to my grandma's parents, kind of know, kind of don't know, from my grandma to my dad, to me, to us kids. My sister, my younger sister, has 2 kids, and my brother, my second oldest brother, has 2 kids. So I myself don't have children. My sister-in-law has 2 kids, and that's it. So for me to keep on pushing generations, it would have to go between my nieces and nephews to keep the generation going. Yes, there's cousins and stuff like that, but the thing about cousins is I'm not close to my cousins. I may talk to about 2 out of many. Yes, they're on Facebook. I may ask them happy birthday or happy anniversary day, happy Independence Day, and, Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff. But besides that, I don't talk to them. So it's like everybody wants this generation to go. Keep on pushing that name. Keep on pushing other names. Like when you get married to a man, you get his last name, and you have children with that man, or you adopt that kid. But it's not the same when you adopt, because it's not blood. See, the thing is, when a man and a woman get married, and they do have a child, it's 2 different blood types. You might get lucky and get an A and an A, or a B and a B, or a C and a C, or whatever, how these blood cycles work. But still, there's 2 different blood cycles, because it's from 2 different parts. It's like me and my wife. I'm from Michigan. She's from Washington State, where we're at right now. But my sister's side, when she was married, he was from Florida, and she's from Michigan. So that's a whole different kind of world and different blood. And they're not even equal, Me and my white blood is not equal. I believe she's one type and I'm another type. Then you got her younger sister had two kids through a guy. Yeah, they weren't far from each other, but one was born in Olympia, another was born in Seattle. But they still lived in the same city, and they had children about 4 years apart. So that's two different blood types. He and she has two different blood types, so that's two bloods mixed together. Then my second oldest brother had two children with a girl. My brother was living in one city and she was living in another city, and they got two different blood types too. So that's two different bloods. But that was one child with one girl. Then you met another girl, two different blood types, mixing that blood together to create another baby. But my brother has two kids. Besides that, my older brother don't have kids. My older sisters don't have kids. I don't have kids, and my younger sister does. And that makes me sad. That me, my older brother, my older sister doesn't have a child. It really does make me sad. And I don't want to go up there and adopt because it's not the same. There's no way I could love that child to be mine because it's not mine. Yes, I took a child from one place and brought it to a safer place, but then doesn't make a safer place. You know, you give a child anything in the world to put a smile on that kid's face, but it's not your child. You can take care of that child till it turns 18. Then what happens? You take a kid away from the streets, you bring him in, then you're going to push him right back onto the streets. Because you don't have enough time to teach him from changing its diaper, to walking, to running, to going out in there and learning physical things like sports. Cutting the grass, raking the leaves, shoveling the snow. If you live in that area, you can shovel snow. Some people don't even get the opportunity to rake the grass, or to shovel the snow, or to cut the grass because they live in Florida where there's really no grass, or you live in Texas where there's really no grass. Now, my sister, when she lived in Florida, they had grass, but in their backyard, the grass would not grow because there was too much sand. So her husband at the time made a water feature, and he was collecting rocks from Michigan. Every time he came to Michigan, he would grab he would grab 10 or 15 rocks from my mother's house or his aunt's house, and he got some from my friends. This water feature took him about 8 years. Yes, he bought rocks too, don't get me wrong, but 10% of them rocks probably came from Michigan, from different areas of Michigan. Some in Dearborn Heights, some in Dearborn, some in Westland, some in Livonia, etc. And he built this water feature. It's pretty big. It's about an 8-foot circle and about 6 foot tall. It's pretty big. And I think it shoots like 3 different areas. And he don't have koi, but he's got fish about 6 or 7 inches long. But they're not kois. They're goldfish, but they're fat little things too. They're pretty wide and pretty long. And I don't know if he still has it today, but as of 2 years ago, he did. But again, then he has, pea gravel, rock gravel, river rock, pea gravel, whatever you want to call it, all in his backyard because his grass don't grow. But still, it's not the point. I know people in Houston, or Houston or Dallas, it's the same way. They got grass in the front yard, but they can't grow grass in the backyard, and they did a water feature back there. But they got a pool, plus a water feature, plus a trampoline, And I think a couple other things too. I think he's got a cook on all that too. So, but he's a YouTuber. That's a whole different story. He can go out there and afford stuff like that. But at least he's doing one thing. He's being smart with his money. His barbecue feature is really, really cool. It's nothing too fancy. You know, you got your flat top with propane. And then he's got his grill, which is charcoal. Then I believe he has plugs with lights, and I think he has an air fryer, and he has a deep freezer. But it's nothing. The grill is nothing special. The flat top is nothing special. The air fryer and the fryer is nothing special because it all came from the Blue Store. So he's not out there just blowing his money. Same thing with the trampoline. It came from the Blue Store. And I think he has a TV out there, but it's not big. I think it's like a 40-inch or a 42-inch. And it's an off-brand TV. It's nothing special. Honestly, I think it's a Roku TV. It's nothing special. And he's got a little water feature, and then he's got a pool. Again, the pool came from the Blue Store. So, and this YouTuber probably has only 50,000 subscribers. And I don't know how much, money he gets per view, per video, because he only gets 5,000 to 6,000 views when he makes a video. Because he only posts a video once a week. But he's got the subscribers. But then he's only posting them 1 or 2 videos a week. Myself, I am trying. No, I understand I don't edit any of my videos, but I try to not make many mistakes. Many. And some of my mistakes works out, because when I do make that mistake, I make that video even better. You may not think that as a viewer, because you may not like what I'm saying. Or I may not even be saying it right. But you gotta understand, nobody's perfect. That's why they have erasers on pencils. And some pens, not all, but some. But then you notice there's no erasers on markers. There's no erasers on color pens or colored pencils. And there's no erasers on crayons. What I know of. So they want you to be perfect when you have colored pens. They want you to be perfect when you have colored pencils. But you could probably use an eraser on it, but I don't know what it would do. I've never tried. But I know there's no erasers for... I don't think there is a eraser for crayons, because it's like a wax, isn't it? And the marker, I don't think there's an eraser for that. But for colored pencils, I could be wrong. They could be eraser. But still, they want you to be perfect in some areas. You know, when you walk, what happens? Sometimes you trip. You may trip over a pebble, or a rock, or a crack, because somebody didn't maintain the sidewalk or the driveway, or a parking lot, or the street, or a road. You could be running and all of a sudden, boom, 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 because you tripped over your shoelace or same thing, pebble, rock, blah, 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 blah. That's why we do that. We fall. You might have 2 eyes. You might wear glasses. You may wear 1 glass. You still make mistakes. You still run into a wall. Same thing with driving. That's why it's called car accident. Accident. Car crash. They don't call it car crash. Boom. It's called car accident because hopefully 89%, 90%, it was a mistake. It could have been from got scared. You jerked your wheel. Or you got scared and hit the gas. Or you got scared and hit the brake and somebody hit rear ends you. It's an accident. That's why we have what? We got your registration. Well, first you have to have a driver's license to drive. We all know that. You have to have registration to say what the car is, because you don't carry your title with you. Who carries your titles with you? We're not going to go there with the title thing. Title, put away in your safe, or in your safe at the bank, etc. Somewhere safe where nobody can get a hold of it. Because they get a hold of your title, they can forge your signature, blah, blah, you know, I'm not going to go there, right? Anyways, you got your driver's license to drive. You got your registration saying what the vehicle is, what color it is, what year it is, hopefully the van. Then you got a plate with a tab. Then you have your monthly insurance or weekly insurance or bi-weekly. So that means you pay weekly or every 2 weeks, or you pay monthly, or you pay every 6 months. The scooter I have, when I first got it, it's 6 months. But it's been 6 months. Not now, because, you know, I paid for it in January because it was in storage for years and years and years. For like 3.5 years or something like that. I had insurance on it, but it was storage insurance. And that was like $2 a month. But as soon as I got my stuff back, I paid for 6 months. Well, as of right now, it's July. So next month, I will be paying $18 a month for full coverage. And I pay $15 for the truck because it's under storage. The truck hasn't been registered, but it is registered because it has plates and tags, but it hasn't been registered in 2 years. It doesn't run. And the DMV knows it doesn't run. And some officers and some sheriffs know that it doesn't run because I've got, you know, when I sit in the parking lot, when I used to sit in the parking lot waiting for my wife, you know, for 45 minutes, an hour sometimes, and just like getting away. That's why you see some of the live stream videos. I'm just in the car. They were always, the cops would come up, or the sheriffs would come up and be like, hey, Jeremy, where's your green truck at? We missed that darn thing. No, it's not a pretty truck, but they knew I was happy. They knew I was happy in this truck because the story about that truck, and that's going to be another video, and it's going to be a sad video because what's going to end up happening to the truck, but that's in another video. As of right now, we still have the truck. But eventually, the truck's going to leave. We will be talking about how I got the truck, and why I got the truck, and how it all become. To become mine. And how we went and got it from where it was located. But the truck, I'm going to talk about that. What the real issue is with the truck and why I physically can't fix it. It's not about the pocketbook. Because I could probably get it. But, you know, all that. It's going to be in another video. Again, it's open-minded, you know what I mean? It's open-minded on mistakes and not making mistakes and so on. But, again, I'm not perfect. And I know I'm not perfect. I never said I was perfect. I'm not smart at all. And that's one reason why I don't edit these videos. But again, when I make mistakes, I try to fix my mistakes. See, I'm trying to refresh myself on what I just said. Sometimes you just gotta take your time. Figure out the flow of life. But then I still can't understand how they're just saying America's only 250 years old. USA's always been here. Somebody had to discover it. But you're telling me nobody's lived in the United States before that? All because they started creating all these states. Is that when it was? Each state started growing up? Like Canada. Canada's birthday is on the 1st. But then they find America the next day. But then it signed our independence to the 4th. Is that why we celebrate our independence? Because it's the 4th? America's birthday is on the 2nd. Or, wait, no, I think it's in June. Because they found America. I don't know how it all goes, honestly. Again, I'm not no genius. I'll never say I will be a genius. But if we talk about all those things, there's some things I am very smart about. When it comes to materials. But, again, I can't explain that to you I could make a YouTube channel and talking about some stuff, but then it would just get boring after 10 videos. Because after that, I'd just be repeating myself like we do in the video game. I would do other things. But the problem with doing other things is, you need more than one person. My wife, she just doesn't want to learn new things on GTA. She just wants to go out and do her basic jobs. You know, go out there, steal the materials, or buy the materials, and then try to sell that material. She don't want to do heists. It's just too much shooting for her. Too much life skills. She don't want to learn all the other stuff. I would love to do the casino heist, or the Lester stuff, and the Mayweather stuff, and all that stuff, but I cannot do it by myself. Like the Cluckenbell. Yes, you can do the Cluckenbell solo. Yes, you can do the prequel heist solo. But the Doomsday heist, I've done the Doomsday heist with my buddy. It took weeks to do them all. And it took a lot of health, a lot of armor, and a lot of bullets. But we did it. We did the casino heist. I still have to do the heist for the arcade. It's ready to go. I just need more people to do it. Then I gotta set up the apartment heist. But again, you need 4 people. Like I said, I tried to do the prequel heist. I can't do it. I don't understand it. I tried to do the Cluckenbell. I just can't do it. I've tried to do it. It doesn't mean I don't understand how to do it. It's just, I died. I tried to do it twice, and I gave up. Probably the first time I ever gave up on something. Usually, when I go out and try to do something, I try to accomplish it. But then, I don't know anything about my mechanic skills. So, I can't say I'm giving up on my truck, but I'm giving up on my truck. I don't know mechanic skills. I could get taught to do mechanic skills, but then I don't have the materials or the equipment, or the same thing, equipment or the materials to fix the truck. I'm never, like again, that's going to be in a whole different video. It could be a half an hour long, it could be 45 minutes long, but it's going to be a grandie. I can tell you that. It's going to be a grandie. Again, I'm not perfect, and I know I'm not perfect. But that sounds fun over there. I don't know if that's a four-wheeler or a dirt bike. When I was younger, I got taught when I was young to go out there and do stuff for your mother or your father or your grandma or your grandpa. Because I lived with my grandparents till I was 12. Till they passed away, then my mom and dad got divorced. My mom and dad didn't get divorced because of that and this and that and that. My dad was an alcoholic. He smoked. My mom never liked him when he smoked. My mom never liked him when he drank. Smoking? Yeah, whatever, but the thing is, he would clean that whole house and he'd come in smelling like what? An ashtray. And she would get upset about it. Or my dad would go home, my mom bust her butt taking care of us kids. My dad would come home from work, throw his dirty clothes right on the floor. Not in a laundry basket, on the floor. And taking a shower and expect clean clothes. Never said please, never said thank you. Just would expect it. Then he would expect. Then he would leave, go to the bar, get wasted, get drunk, blah, 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 same, and then expect a hot meal and a cold drink as soon as he gets home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you think my mom wanted to stay up, cook him a special meal, have a cold drink, beverage for him? No. My mother wasn't a wife. It should not be a slave to a husband. And that's what I'm saying. A boyfriend and girlfriend, you can't treat your girlfriend or your wife like a slave. My mother was never a slave to my father. But my father thought other things, so my mom said, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. Boom, dropping them with the paperwork. Then they went to court, and they did their things. You know, it's supposed to be 50-50. No. My mom's like, I don't want any of his crap. Just walk away. Just walk away. Walk away. So you can't see her anymore. Then my dad got sick. Then my mom got remarried a couple years later. My dad got sick. He didn't get sick because he didn't get loved. My mom still talked to him, asked him how he was doing. Hey, you need help? You want to go get some AA, etc. My dad went, quit smoking, quit drinking, got back on his feet, and went back to work. So my mom always said, hey, every Friday you can have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you can have the kids, make sure the kids go to church. We did that for 5 years before my dad passed away. Before he got sick and went to the hospital, spent 6 months in the hospital because something happens. Something in his body made him fill up with fluids. Then when they try to pump it out, blah, 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 then he ended up getting a breathing machine. They put something right here, I think it was called a trank. Or something, I don't know. Somebody will know in the comments what the thing is that makes you breathe. And they put a tube in your neck. Usually you can survive from it. But my dad's fluids would just keep on building. This pump thing would boom and just suck out this thing. And they would take out 5, 6, 7 gallons a day of this white crap. I don't even know. There's a word for it. I don't know what the word is. I did know what it was like 22 years ago. I can't remember today. But coming to see your father, barely moving his fingers, can't talk to you, is crazy. I can tell you that right now. Then, every time we ask my dad, do you love us? Thumbs went up. Then we ask, are you ready to go to heaven? Thumbs went up. We had to ask questions, and the only thing my dad had to do is thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no, and there was never a no. There was never a dull moment. Just talking to my father. I would sit there and watch TV with my father for hours and just watch him. Nodding his head and putting his thumbs up. Enjoying the movie? Thumbs up. Enjoying the movie? Sometimes it'd be like this. It'd be like a maybe. But I'm telling you, all because my dad was a piece of poop to my mother doesn't mean he didn't love her. Because he paid the bills. He made sure we had clothes on our back, we had food, we had somewhere to sleep, and the rent was paid. But my mom and dad would bump heads. Not bump heads where they would argue. They just bumped heads because my mom disagreed with the smoking and the drinking. But guess what? The bills still got paid. So she couldn't complain about that. But it went to the point where they got divorced. And at that point, was it better? Yeah, sure, why not? I'm not going to talk about the stepfather thing because we don't need to know about him, okay? We're just going to leave it there because he was never a father figure. My dad taught me how to go cut grass, taught me how to weed whack, taught me how to use a blower, taught me how to use the weed whacker to edge grass, and the rake. Not the rake. What the heck do you call that thing? The regular edger. Then he taught me how to use the roller tiller. Then the machine what poops out these little dirt clumps. I used to call them little poop turds. To air out the grass. He taught me how to do that. Taught me how to roll till. Taught me how to ride a four-wheeler. Taught me how to ride a dirt bike. Now, the guys taught me how to ride, for real, how to ride a dirt bike and how to ride a four-wheeler and how to really plow. But my dad, at least, he took effort and tried to tell me the basic riding skills, plowing skills, cutting grass, shoveling snow, etc. But I had to learn how to ride my bike by myself. My dad goes, well, you can ride a bike, you can ride a four-wheeler. You can ride a bike, you can ride a dirt bike. I learned how to drive a boat to my friends. How to really ride a dirt bike, how to really do it. Because my dad taught me how to ride a dirt bike just singing in one gear, never switching gears. I never learned how to switch gears until I got way, way older, like almost 25, 26, 27 years old. Only why I don't have a clutch on a motorcycle is because I bought myself a bike. Bought myself a Kawasaki. I believe it was a 300. I had money back then because when I was working at Applebee's and Lone Star and Red Robin opening up these businesses. I'm not going to say I had a job. I had multiple jobs, especially working at the bumper shop. I worked there since I was 7, 8 years old. I knew my buddy for years and years and years and years and years, since 3rd grade. So we got to work early. Learn how to sand. Learn how to sandblast, learn how to do a little bit of painting, learn how to load a semi-truck, unload a semi-truck, how to cut a bumper in half with scissors or a razor blade, and put them back together. We would cut up bumpers just to learn how to fix a bumper. And you could never tell. Well, you could tell on the other side, but you couldn't tell in the front. Or the back. I'm sorry, I can't sing. Anyways. You want to teach your kids early. And that's why I'd rather teach a kid from day one. Can't go on there and adopt a 6-year-old kid. Then I can't teach it physical skills. Like taking its first step. Its first bathroom on the toilet. Or a little plastic little thing. Or a bucket. I don't care. At least it knows how to do it and it's not in a diaper. Teaching the kid how to swim, how to ride a bike, how to ride a dirt bike, 4-wheeler motorcycle. But getting back to a motorcycle, I bought a motorcycle, and yes, I did some stuff. I went and got the handlebars powder dipped. It was blue. The bike was red. It was cheaper to buy the bike as it was and just upgrade it. So I went and got some flat gray handlebars. It's still stock for the bike. No, nothing fancy. Well, it does get fancy, but we'll wait. Bought handlebars. Bought some rims. When you got the rims, just stock handlebars, stock rims, and got them powder coated blue. Took the whole bike apart. Swing arm, frame. And I almost bought a brand new, and I had to take the bike apart because eventually I had to go on to a brand new swing arm and a brand new frame. That went and got powder coated blue. I didn't want paint. I wanted powder coated. There was no plastic on this bike. Well, the front end was plastic, but the rest of it. Then I went and got the seat we leathered with my initials, JST. I did that. Then I got myself the windshield. It was clear. Then that ended up getting, I got a smoke windshield because my helmet was smoked windshield. But the good thing about that is there's a little level like on the helmet I got now with sunglasses. So, but yes, it was hard to drive at night. So I had 2 different lenses. So if it was at night, I did push the 2 buttons. That lens would come off, and the clear one would go on for safety. I'm not gonna smoke out that helmet, but I do got sunglasses if I need it because they just drop down. But it was so easy to hold the button, boom. Cover come off, boom, snap it on. Because you didn't have a whole button to snap in place. To take it off, you had to hold the buttons. Then, push one side, corner, boom, The other one, you just put it in your palm, click, and just go. Then make sure it works. Besides that, and as soon as you get light out, pull it off, new one on, click. So it was pretty cool, honestly. But again, I want my own child, so I can teach it all these things. Especially driving a boat, driving a car, or a truck, or a van, an SUV, etc. Especially a motorcycle. But back to the motorcycle, everything was stock, but then I ended up getting a muffler. The hanger of it was powder coated. Then I got a tuned muffler. I don't know what kind it was, but then I ended up getting a level 2 tune for it. I think through Bully Dog, if I'm correct. I'm not for sure. Or Tune Sports, something like that. I can't remember. They're not in business anymore. Or it shouldn't even been Nitro. I don't even remember. And you can go to stock, stage 1 or stage 2 because it was a level 2. Then I went and the carburetor, I ended up putting the bigger jet in it. I know nothing about all this stuff. I bought it because somebody told me to buy it. Then I ended up going from another tire set where the tire was a little stickier. I'm gonna end up buying that because I didn't care for the stock tires. Like on the scooter, I got Dunlops, and that's what was on this bike was Dunlops. Now that's not a sticky tire, but it's just how it's shaped, and that's exactly what I wanted on the bike. It's how it was shaped, but it grabbed the road a little bit more, especially for a beginner rider. And I ended up doing that. Then I end up all the lights and all that, the mirrors, they were plastic mirrors. Well, we end up my buddy's a sandblaster. Well, we can sandblast and stuff, so we took it apart, sandblasted it, and well, I think I ended up painting it like a light blue. Try to match it out. So it literally took like 4 days to figure this out. Oh, we didn't like it, we take it apart and sandblast it, reprime it, and paint it again. So it got to where we wanted as close as we could. We'd just do light coats, like exactly where we would want it. Then we'd do light coats and clear coat till it pushed out the same kind of bling. Everybody goes, how did you powder coat plastic? I'm like, we didn't. We did the thinnest layer of primer as we could, and it was like 4 or 5 layers of paint, very thin coats, and it was 4 or 5 layers of clear coat, very, very fine to push out the fling. Then there was this white wax. I don't know who made it. I don't know if it was a Total Wax, what it was. It would stay there for 6 months because it was waterproof. So we then ended up doing that, and we did this all through the wintertime. Bike had no miles. Well, it had a couple miles on it when I drove it in the parking lot. But the time we bought it, the time it came off the trailer, well, the time, was it built already? I don't know if it was built already. I can't remember. But when I got it, I drove it. Probably only had 1 mile on it. Something like that. I don't remember. I rode around. I didn't have a driver's license yet. Or, better yet, a motorcycle license. Better yet, a permit. I didn't have a permit, driver's license, or a motorcycle, so I couldn't take it off the lot. So I'd just ride around the bike shop in their parking lot. Then my buddy would come up on Sundays. On his day off, the business ain't open, and we would, put the chain on the pole. So, the road was public for anybody to drive on. But on Sundays, you couldn't go on it because, well, they did stuff there, like bike meets and RC stuff and stuff like that. So we would hook up the chain. Only time of the year was only on Sundays it was closed to the public. Well, you can come out, but you couldn't park. If you're a part of the event, maybe you could park. I can't remember. We always parked in the streets. But anyways, I would go out there and ride. I probably put 40 miles on it. Then I was like, okay, I'm ready. I went and got my driver's license in 2001. And I went and got my motorcycle endorsement. That was a brand new butt, I can tell you. The driving part was not too shabby. You know, you do all these little things and you drive it on the road and stuff like that. Nothing too fancy. About 2 weeks after getting my motorcycle endorsement, putting the M on my driver's license. I don't have it today, but anyways, that's why I don't drive that thing on the freeway. But still, went out there for a cruise. I didn't think of anything. Never thought of anything. Going on the road, going on the freeway, etc., etc. Get down the road from my mother's house, where we used to live. I was thinking to myself, this is cool. And I'm like, you know, a little 300 motorcycle with a tune pipe and stuff like that. Thinking it was all froggy, right? Then I was like, I was like, oh wow, I can pick this thing up. And trying to ride little baby Willies. It was cool. I was like, oh, this is cool. Let's dump the clutch. Just got that bike. Just like that. And it did that for like 25 feet. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, cool, all right. I was like, okay, let's start learning stoppies. Oops. No, not oops like that. Oops. I crashed. Where the bike meets on the frame in this, peeled right off. All that down the frame. All down the road. No! Well, thank God I still got that frame. The old frame. All rim. Bit right in half. What an idiot. Thank God it was next to my house, right? My stepfather had this trailer. Put the bike on the trailer, put it in the garage. Shut the door. I'm all beat up. Yeah, I had leathers and stuff, but still. I go to my buddy Tom. Oops. What'd you do now? Just oops. You're bleeding. What'd you do? I learned how to do a stoppie. No, you didn't. You crashed. Yeah. He goes, what do you need? I'm like, new plastic. What else do you need? New light. What else? Blinkers. What else you need? New rim. You gonna powder coat it? No. You gonna powder coat your old frame? No. You gonna do the rims? You gonna get new mirrors? No. So the bike without mirrors. That's what I did. So I put the original frame back on, because there was no fixing it. He said he couldn't fix it. It just would have been too much work. And then trying to get all that powder coat off and redo that, it wasn't worth it. So we ended up scrapping that. Thank God we didn't have to get handlebars. So that's a powder coat. So you had a whole bike with powder coated rims and that. And yeah. The muffler was fine. So the person who ended up buying the bike ended up getting a pretty decent bike with like 250 miles on it. Got put all brand new front fairing, whatever you want to call it, on it. New light, new blinkers, no mirrors. And then he got another rim. It wasn't a brand new rim, but it was a half decent rim from a crash bike. But this bike crashed from the rear because guy crashed and it just, but the front rim was good. The tire was fine. It just cracked it up that one half. I mean, I hit hard. I hit hard, but crazy stuff. I can tell you that right now. So I just never. Then I gave up my motorcycle license. Then I ended up, getting smaller scooters. Like 120. I think it was. I got a 50. I had a 50. Tuned that up. I had a 70. I had a 125. Ended up tuning that up. I ended up getting a 300. Ended up tuning that up. Then, like that 400 now. But before the 400, I had a 650. And then we tuned that up. And I rode the 650. But then, the guys at the bike shop says, Jeremy, you should just get rid of it because that thing goes 150 miles an hour with your tune. And you don't have your motorcycle license. We hate to see you go to jail. So I ended up getting rid of that, and about 7 years later, I ended up getting that 400. But I haven't done nothing to that bike. So I put oil in it, changing the drive belt, changing the spark plug, changing the air filter, changing the oil, and changing the antifreeze as it needs. But it still has a governor. I'm not taking that governor off. And I have it where the scooter only goes 70 miles an hour. That bike could do 132, but we put it where we don't get full throttle. I only get 75% throttle. I could take the governor off and go 132 miles an hour, maybe even more. I could take the baffle out of that muffler and probably get a little bit of oomph. Maybe put a hotter spark plug in it and to get better oomph. Maybe put K&N air filters in, maybe get better airflow to get better oomph. Maybe change the jet to get better oomph. Maybe put a basic tune, but then they don't recommend putting a tune on that scooter. They did recommend to put a tune on the 650. But there was a tune for the 125. There was a tune for 300. But they don't have a tune, at least not at this moment. They didn't have a tune for this bike, being the 400 Manistee. I don't think anybody's tuned a Manistee. What I know of, they could have. You guys will let me know in the comments if you know anybody's ever tuned it, or if they have a tune, let me know, because I'd love to put a tune on it. But not for speed, more for sound. I'd like to get a muffler, but the muffler, for that, everybody's telling me it's like $400. It's not worth it. But if I can get a muffler for $100, I'd love to get it. Do it like a cheap Amazon muffler or eBay muffler. Not Temu. I don't like Temu. I never use that company. That's almost like Geek. The website Geek or something, whatever it's called. But that's one reason why I don't drive anything with a clutch. That's why I don't have a four-wheeler. That's why I don't have a dirt bike. If I got a four-wheeler, it'd be an automatic. And most likely it'd be a Sportsman or a Grizzly or something like that. It's got to be name brand. It can't be. Yeah, I can go out there and buy a Kosha four-wheeler and get a 450 or a 650 or whatever. But then you're going to find parts for that stuff? Because the dealer sells it doesn't mean you're going to get parts. And if you can get parts for it, how long is it going to take? 4 weeks? 6 weeks? 10 weeks? I'm not waiting that long. Then when, we got the parts in, it's been 10 weeks. Well, now you're going to wait another 5 weeks for us to fix it. So the time you're done, you got 4 or 5 months in there. The season's over. Especially if you want to ride when it's 60, 70, 80 degrees outside, or 90. Not everybody can afford a pool, Some people get lucky to have a pool and a trampoline. I've always was lucky to have a pool and a trampoline, but you won't catch me on a trampoline. I'll break my ankles. I can tell you that. But yeah. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who will come out here and watch this video. I know it's a very long one. It's roughly 50 minutes long. But do me a favor, hit that like button. Comment. what you like, what you didn't like. Subscribe to this channel if you're not a subscriber. And you guys have a wonderful day. Talk to you guys later. Bye.